Ride or die. I'm Danny, a motorcycle enthusiast with a penchant for adventure and the open road. For years, I had dreamt of a cross-country trip, a journey to experience the diverse landscapes and cultures that my country had to offer. My trusty Harley-Davidson was more than just a machine. It was my escape from the mundane, a vessel that carried my dreams and desires. As I set out that fateful day, the sun hung low in the sky, casting a warm golden hue over the asphalt and beckoning me forward. I felt alive, the wind whipping through my hair as I reveled in the freedom of the ride. The gentle hum of the engine and the rhythmic thump of my heartbeat synchronized in a melody of liberation. Each mile I covered was a testament to my love for exploration, fueled by the promise of new horizons and unforgettable experiences. But as I traveled through small towns, that initial exhilaration began to give way to an unsettling feeling. What had once been charming scenes of life, a mother tending to her children, friends gathered around a barbecue, slowly morphed into a backdrop of disquiet. The atmosphere thickened with tension as I caught glimpses of empty streets and shattered windows. My excitement turned to anxiety, and I couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. When I pulled into Cedar Creek, the familiar sounds of a diner and the warm scent of coffee drew me in, but the air inside was charged with a palpable unease. The locals spoke in hushed tones, glancing nervously at the door, and an old man muttering about sickness and madness filled me with foreboding. "Did you hear about the outbreak?" one of the patrons asked, his voice barely above a whisper. I strained to listen, the conversation pulling me in like a moth to a flame. "People are going crazy. They say it's like something out of a horror movie." At that moment, the diner's fluorescent lights flickered ominously, and I felt an icy shiver run down my spine. My instincts screamed at me to leave, but I needed gas for my bike and food to keep me going. I paid for a coffee and a sandwich, keeping my eyes on the door, anticipating a sudden rush of chaos. As I stepped back outside, I noticed the tension in the air had thickened. Shadows danced in the fading light, and the ominous silence was punctuated only by the distant sound of sirens. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. Climbing onto my bike, I felt the familiar comfort of my machine beneath me, a sense of security amidst the brewing storm. Suddenly, a piercing scream shattered the stillness. My heart raced as I turned to see a woman stumbling from a nearby alley, her clothes torn and bloodied, eyes wide with terror. Behind her, a figure lurched forward, its gait unnatural, limbs hanging at odd angles. The face was a grotesque mask of decay, skin mottled and gray, with the jaws snapping hungrily at the woman. Panic surged through me. I knew I had to act fast. "Hey, get on," I shouted to the woman, revving the engine and gesturing for her to jump on the back of my bike. I didn't have time to think about the risk, only the instinct to survive. With a desperate glance back, she leapt onto the seat, her breath ragged as she clung to my waist. I hit the throttle hard, the engine roaring to life as I tore away from the diner. I could hear the woman sobbing behind me, the sound mingling with the growls of the undead as they pursued us. "Go! Go! They're right behind us!" she screamed, her voice cracking with fear. We raced through the empty streets of Cedar Creek, the gas station I had planned to stop at rushing past in a blur. It was too risky to stop now, not with those things chasing us. I navigated the bike through winding back roads, the fading light casting long shadows that seemed to reach for us. "Who are they?" she gasped, her voice barely audible over the roar of the engine. "What are they?" "Zombies," I replied, the word feeling surreal as I uttered it. "I don't know how or why, but we need to get out of here, fast." As we turned onto a desolate highway, the realization of our situation sank in. My heart pounded, and adrenaline coursed through my veins. I had always enjoyed the thrill of the ride, but this was a different kind of rush, a desperate fight for survival. A glance in the rearview mirror revealed a swarm of figures emerging from the darkness, staggering towards us. I pressed down harder on the accelerator, pushing the bike to its limits. With every jolt of the road, I felt my resolve strengthen. I had to keep her safe. "Where are we going?" she shouted, her voice barely cutting through the wind. "There's a gas station up ahead," I replied, scanning the horizon for any sign of civilization. "We can regroup, find supplies, and figure out our next move." We reached the gas station, a weathered building that looked like it had been abandoned for years. I skidded to a halt, the bike's tires squealing against the gravel. "Stay close," I instructed, hopping off the bike and scanning the area for any signs of life or danger. The gas station was eerily quiet, the only sound coming from the rustling of leaves in the wind. I motioned for her to follow as I approached the entrance, my heart racing. I pushed the door open and it creaked ominously, revealing an interior shrouded in darkness. Inside, I quickly began searching for anything useful. I rummaged through old shelves, finding a few cans of food, bottled water, and some basic first aid supplies. "I'll check the back," I said, motioning for her to stay put. I ventured deeper into the gas station, feeling the weight of silence press heavily against me. As I moved through the aisles, I heard a faint shuffling sound behind me. I turned, instincts kicking in, only to be met by the grotesque figure of a zombie, its eyes hollow and lifeless. It had somehow gotten in while I was distracted, and the realization hit me like a punch to the gut. "Help!" the woman screamed, her voice filled with panic. I grabbed a nearby metal pipe, adrenaline surging through me as I swung it at the creature with all my might. The metal connected with a sickening thud, and the zombie crumpled to the ground. But I knew there would be more. The stench of decay filled the air as I stepped over its lifeless body, my heart racing. "We need to go," I yelled, rushing back to her. "Now!" We fled the gas station, heart pounding in my chest as we hopped onto the bike. With the engine roaring to life, I felt a surge of hope mixed with fear. We tore down the road, the night swallowing us whole as I realized that this journey was no longer just a ride. It was a fight for survival in a world that had descended into madness. Let me know in the comments below if you want to hear more from this story. Please like and subscribe. Click these videos for more zombie pack stories. Thank you.